y'all. My name's Joe, and I don't get it. So, the last couple videos, I was talking specifically about certain sections of um, our Constitution, Bill of Rights, uh, parts of the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. But today, I kind of want to, I don't know, change it up a little bit. Um, I want to ask the question because I don't understand. I don't get. Um, Growing up, uh, I'm currently 47. Was born in 1979. Um, so I grew up in the 80s, 90s. A big part of that time period um, was I don't even know. It's not so much different than it is today. I mean, there are a ton of things different today than there were back then. Um, but there's a certain spectrum of thinking today that didn't really exist, or at least it wasn't mainstream in the 80s, the 90s. Um, and that's like this overwhelming, at least pushed forward in mainstream thinking, mainstream understanding of socialism, communism as a yeah, let's do that. Um, and I don't get it. I don't understand where this is coming from. We've been a constitutional republic, uh, representative republic for 250 years. We've fought wars against fascism, communism, socialism. And I don't understand, like, we have historical evidence that these particular um socio-political systems don't work. um I've heard it repeatedly said, and I looked up the quote. Winston Churchill said democracy is the worst form except all the rest. And the thing about the United States is, and I hear that word too. I hear the word democracy. We have to save our democracy. We have to save our democracy. Well, the United States is not a democracy. Um, the only democratic process the United States possesses is voting for our representatives. Um, the voting process is the closest thing the United States comes to democracy. So when I hear all these talking heads talk about democracy, we have to save our democracy, we have to save our democracy. Well, how exactly are we losing something we don't have to begin with? I don't get it. Come every 4 years, November, we go to the polls, we cast our vote. Those votes are counted. I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories about false elections and blah, 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 blah. The way it's supposed to work is you go to the poll, you cast your vote, those votes are counted, and they're the majority are supposed to in a perfect world in which things work as they're supposed to, those votes determine which set of electors then go and cast the vote in the electoral college for, in this particular case, the president of the United States. However, my point being is democracy, although we do have a democratic vote to elect leaders, democracy in of itself is not how the United States is run. We elect representatives who are supposed to represent us, their constituents. Whether that occurs or not, that's a whole nother conversation. But in this particular conversation, I'm specifically talking about I see more and more and more, especially here in the digital world, I see more and more and more individuals talking about yay socialism, yay communism. Here's the issue I have with that. There has never been a successful experiment where communism or socialism has worked thoroughly. On paper, in theory, it sounds perfect. It sounds like a utopia. The problem with utopian thought, especially today, is utopian thought doesn't take humans' propensity for violence, greed, especially greed, jealousy, human nature is what I'm trying to say. The theory of a utopian society doesn't take human nature into consideration when it's theorized. The problem is, it may start off flowers and rainbows and puppies. However, eventually, somebody is going to come along, charismatic, gregarious, charismatic, where he or she can bring people into their bosom and make them believe that they are the second coming and they can do no wrong, and before you know it, you have a Stalin, you have a Mussolini, you have a certain mustache man. Um, the problem is people. I love people. I think individuals, we as a species, have the ability to, and the compassion to create beautiful and wonderful, things in the world. We have extremely intelligent individuals. We have extremely brave individuals. The problem is individuals. Individuals are amazing. Small, tight knit groups of family, community. In those particular cases, small scale, socialist environments. I don't even want to go communist, just the theory of everybody working together. We see it every day in this country. We see small communities coming together, working well together, whether that's church groups or, you know, uh, clubs, organizations, small groups of individuals get together for a common goal, a common need, and work it out. Communes, back in the 60s, hippie communes, things like that can work. However, it doesn't work on a grand scale because the larger you build up to it, the larger the scale becomes, the more power that needs to be shared amongst all the people is where you start to run into problems. Because now you have an issue where this large group begins to build or separate into tribes, clans. At least that's what I've seen in my personal view, studying history, witnessing what's going on in the country today. Tribalism. Everybody, not everybody, but a large portion of the population, no matter how hard we try to not do it, we separate into tribes. Um, it's, anyways, the reason I'm bringing this up, the reason I'm talking about communism and socialism is I just see more and more and more young people grasping on to the thought that these particular socioeconomic stratagems will work. And I, the only explanation I can come up with as to why they feel or they believe that way is they just haven't experienced enough of the world. They haven't experienced enough of human nature to know it doesn't. No matter how good the intentions may be at the start, eventually individuals will build up enough power to the point where they control everything, and therein lies where the system falls apart. And I have to say, the same goes with pure democracy, too. Pure democracy is just as troublesome as socialism and communism. I think they're all part of the same, flip a coin. Um, you know, people vote. You get a voice. Everybody gets a voice. The downside to that is nothing ever gets done because you have 100 people, 100 different voices, 100 different ideas on how things should get done. Nobody agrees, therefore nothing gets done. Now, I'm not saying that uh, representative republic, constitutional republic is 100% the greatest, 100% effective. Um, Corruption happens in this system as well. We see it. We vote individuals into office, and then within days of taking that office, weeks, months of taking that office, they start voting against their constituents, you know, wants and needs. Um, it happens on both sides of the aisle. we vote individuals into office who promise us the world and then fail to deliver. And as sad as it sounds, we've gotten to a point today where we're no longer, in my opinion, and again, this is my opinion. I may be completely wrong. What do I know? I don't get everything. But in my opinion, we're no longer voting for the best representative. We're voting for the least bad representative. And to me, that is truly, truly sad. I believe, in my humble opinion, um, our founding fathers created a system where individuals should be serving, giving back to communities, giving back to the country that has given to them. Politicians should not be a job, should not be a career field. We should not have politicians in office for 30, 40, 50 years. We should not have politicians voting and turning their wheelchair around and dying on the Senate floor of old age. That shouldn't be a thing. But I digress. So, I guess in the end, what I'm trying to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but socialism and communism doesn't work. Sounds great. The idea of it is fascinating. The thought that every citizen owns uh equal shares in their own future and everybody else's future. Everybody is equal no matter what your job is, whether you're a street sweeper, a garbage man, a surgeon, a teacher, a soldier. You're all treated equally. The problem is where it falls short is people are not all built the same intellectually, physically. People are not all built the same. And when you force individuals to share, again, it may work in a small scale, it may work on a large scale for a short period of time, but eventually you're going to get individuals or a small group of individuals that believe they know better than everybody else, that they are better than everybody else, and the system begins to collapse. And then you start getting dictatorships, tyranny, which leads to the unaliving of many, many, many people. It's happened throughout history. Every single time it's attempted, it fails miserably. And millions and millions and millions of humans have paid the price to prove that time and again. And you can truly believe that this time it'll be different because we're learning from the past and we won't make the same mistakes. The problem is you can't contend with human nature. Somebody will always believe that they know better than everybody else. And in a system where everybody is equal, eventually somebody will take control and it falls apart. But what do I know? I don't really get it. If you want to have a conversation about it, tell me your thoughts. Leave a comment below. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. Maybe somebody knows more than I do and can explain it to me because I don't get it. Anyways, thank you all for coming. I love you all. Have a good night.